Hello students, welcome to my physics class. This is Shumi Roy from Techno India Group Public School, Siliguri, and today we are going to do short answer type questions of chapter Some Natural Phenomena. So the first question is, why does a plastic comb rubbed with dry hair attract tiny pieces of paper? So when a plastic comb is rubbed with dry hair, it becomes negatively charged. The negatively charged comb induces a positive charge on the pieces of paper which are neutral in nature. As we know that unlike charges attract each other, plastic comb attracts tiny pieces of paper. Next question is, how will you charge a glass rod by the method of friction? So when we rub a glass rod with a silk cloth, the glass rod loses the electron. Okay, and when the glass rod loses the electron, it will have more number of positively charged particles, so it will become positively charged. Okay, and now as the silk has gained the electron, silk becomes negatively charged because it is now having more number of negatively charged particles, that is electrons. So silk acquires negative charge and glass rod acquires positive charge. So we can write like this: a glass rod can be charged by rubbing it with silk cloth. When a glass rod is rubbed with silk, some of the electrons from the glass atom are transferred to silk. Due to the deficiency of electrons in the glass atoms, it becomes positively charged. Whereas the silk has acquired electrons, it becomes negatively charged. Next question is, how will you charge an inflated rubber balloon by the method of friction? So an inflated rubber balloon can be charged by rubbing it against the woolen cloth. So when we rub a inflated rubber balloon with the woolen cloth, it becomes charged. Now the next question, how will you charge a plastic comb, plastic scale or plastic pen by the method of friction? Okay, so any plastic comb, plastic scale or plastic pen can be charged by rubbing it with dry hairs. Okay, so by the method of friction, okay, when we rub this plastic comb or plastic scale or plastic pen with our dry hairs, it becomes electrically charged. Next question is, how will you charge a ballpoint pen refill by the method of friction? A ballpoint pen refill can be charged by rubbing it against the wool cloth. Okay, so next question, what will you observe when the metal top of an electroscope is touched with a glass rod which has been rubbed with silk cloth? Give reason for your answer. Okay, so when a glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth, it acquires positive charge. When it is touched with the metal top of an electroscope, both the metal top and the leaves acquires a positive charge due to conduction. Now, as a result of positive charges on both the leaves, the divergence of leaves takes place. Okay, as now the leaves are positively charged, and as both the leaves are positively charged, and we know that like charges repel each other, the leaf diverges. Okay. Next question is, what will you observe when the metal top of an electroscope is touched with a plastic comb rubbed in dry hair? Give reason for your answer. So after rubbing the plastic comb, it acquires a negative charge. So when it is touched with the metal cap of an electroscope, both the metal cap and the leaves acquires negative charge due to conduction. As a result of negative charge on both the leaves, divergence of leaves takes place. Okay, because now the leaves of the electroscope, or both the leaves of the electroscope, are negatively charged, and as like charges repel each other, the divergence of the leaves takes place. Now the next question is, what happens when we touch the metal top of a charged electroscope with our finger? What is this process known as? Okay, the leaves of an electroscope will collapse when we touch the metal cap with our hand. This is because the leaves of the charged electroscope lose charge to the earth or get discharged through our body. This process is called earthing. The process of transfer of charge from a charged body to the earth is called earthing. Explain why a charged body loses its charge when we touch it with our hand. A charged body loses its charge or gets discharged when we touch it with our hand because the electric charge present on charged body flows to the earth through our hand and body. This process is called earthing. Next question, what happens when the two plates of Earth's crust moving in opposite directions slide past one another? When the two plates of earth crust moving in opposite directions slide past one another, they rub against one another and the rocks of their edges get entangled. When the entangled rocks of the two crust breaks, the earthquake occurs. As we know, the edge of the tectonic plates, the plates are not a smooth surface, they are the rough surface. So the rough edges get entangled. The interlocking of these rough surfaces take place and they get entangled. And when the entangled rocks of the two crust plates break, then the earthquake occurs. What happens when two moving plates of earth crust collide head-on with each other? When two plates collide head-on, they push each other up and form mountains. A tremendous amount of energy is released when the huge plates of crust collide with each other and ground starts shaking. The shaking of the ground is felt as an earthquake. Next question is, how will you find out whether an object is charged or not? So in order to find out if an object is charged or not, we can test it by using an electroscope. By touching the object with metal cap of an electroscope, both the metal cap and the leaves acquires the charge due to conduction. As a result, both the leaves of the electroscope will have the same charge. It will cause the leaves to diverge, showing that the object is charged. Means by using an electroscope, we can detect whether an object is charged or not. Next question is, explain why it might be dangerous to raise an umbrella over our head in a thunderstorm. It is not safe to carry an umbrella during thunderstorm. Umbrellas are made up of metals. Thunderstorms are accompanied with lightnings. The electric discharge from the clouds can travel through the metal rod of the umbrella. It can result into the electric discharge to the person carrying it. Hence, it might be dangerous to carry an umbrella during thunderstorm. Next question is, a person is in open space during a thunderstorm with no shelter, not even a tree available nearby. Describe the safe position which he should take to protect himself from lightning. Why this position is considered safe? If there is no shelter available, we must stay away from all trees, poles or other metal objects. We must not lie on the ground, but we should squat low on the ground. Hands must be placed on the knees and the head should be between the hands. This position will make the person the shortest object around to be struck. So this position is considered as a safe position. Okay, because in this position the person will be the shortest object. Okay, so the lightning will strike the other object which are nearby, but as the person is the shortest object around, okay, so the lightning will not strike the person. Suggest 3 measures to protect ourselves from lightning. We must protect ourselves from lightning in the following ways. We must find a safe place to stay. A house or building are safe to stay in. If we are in a car or a bus, we must keep the windows and doors of the vehicles shut. If there is no shelter available, we must remain in the squat position. We must avoid the use of telephone cords, electrical wires and metal pipes. So these are the few safety measures which we can take to protect ourselves during lightning. Next question is, explain why sometime when we take off the woolen sweater or a polyester shirt in a dark room, we can see tiny spark of light and hear a crackling sound. So we can see tiny spark of light and hear a crackling sound when we take off the woolen sweater or a polyester shirt. It happens because the sweater or a polyester shirt gets charged due to friction between the sweater and the body. Okay, and during electric discharge, some type of energy is released. So those, in this case, the energy is released is in the form of a sound and tiny spark of light. The next question is, name the material of which a lightning conductor is made. So usually a lightning conductor is made with a good conductor of electricity. So copper, mostly copper is used. Copper or iron is used. Now next, what is the shape of the top end of a lightning conductor? The lightning conductor is made of metal rod with the sharp pointed edges or spikes on the top. Now, where is the upper end of the lightning conductor fixed in a building? The upper end of the lightning conductor is fixed above the highest point of the building. Next question, where is the lower end of the lightning conductor fixed and how? The lower end of the rod is joined to a metal plate and buried deep in the ground near the base of the building. Next question is, what precautions would you take to protect yourself during an earthquake if you are inside the house? So in order to protect ourselves during an earthquake, we must protect ourselves in the following ways. We must take shelter under the table and should stay until the shaking stops. Second, we must stay away from the heavy objects to avoid them to fall on us. Third, if we are in bed, we must stay in it and should protect our head with a pillow. So these are the few precautions which you can take to protect yourself during an earthquake and if you are inside the house. Next question is, what precautions would you take to protect yourself during an earthquake if you are outdoors? So we must take the following precautions for protection during an earthquake if we are outdoors. The first is, we must find a clear spot away from the buildings, trees and overhead power lines. We must drop to the ground. If we are driving, so while driving, we must remain inside the car or a bus. We must drive slowly to a clear spot. We must not come out of the car or the bus till the tremors stop. Now the next question is, state any 2 precautions which should be observed by people living in seismic zones for protection against earthquakes. So people living in seismic zones should take the following measures for protection against earthquake. The buildings in this zone should be designed so that they can withstand tremors. Modern building technology can make it possible. Mud and timber should be used as a construction material instead of heavy materials. The roof should be kept as light as possible. Clocks, photo frames and water heaters should be hung carefully at proper places to avoid damage by them. Sometimes the building may catch fire during earthquake. So all these buildings, especially the tall building, should have fire fighting equipments in working order. So with this question, we complete the short answer type questions. Okay. Thank you for watching the video.